他们在讨论科幻小说里的剧情，你们几个先出去一下吧。
Probably be helpful for your guys if they knew they were fighting by like telling them the truth and not gaslighting them. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we're back with another episode of Link Click. I guess we're quickly approaching the end of the season. I think there's, 12 episodes in the season, and we just watched episode 7, meaning we're going into episode 8 today, which would be 4 left after that. And I honestly have no idea where we're going here, other than my theory that possibly Red Eyes is going to be Tianqi's brother, and that this is going to be an introduction to the element that the villain that we've been coming after this whole time, we just got introduced to their horrible, horrible backstory. And at the same time, if that is true, then it's going to be real hard to feel any sympathy for them. Their upbringing doesn't give them any clearance on murdering other innocent people. Like, you can't get justice for what they did and at the same time justice for Emma. You know, not without being able to severely change the timeline, which Lou isn't going to let us do. So, unless Chang really, really goes rogue. Because, again, it feels like in order to save all those people's lives, if I'm right, you know, if the two kids turn out to be some combination, Red Eyes, then you've got to save them from what happened so that they don't become the people that they become and then do the things that they do, right? Anyway, tangent before I even do anything. We come with notes and a board. Let's, of course, start with the board. And with the board comes the board changelog, where the first thing I want to do is actually zoom in here. Not something I normally do in these, but here is the image of who I originally have on the board as the Red Eyes character. So I'm going to move this around so I can be able to read my own stuff and look at the board. This is who I originally had down as the Red Eyes character, right? Or, you know, technically I was using an image of Lu Min, but this is the one I'm using now because start of the season, this is who I thought it was. What I want to bring attention to, because this is what I was thinking when I was doing the board, the fact that I still have this guy here as Red Eyes with, you know, connections to him, and then Tianxi over here as a separate character. See these bangs? These bangs have been cut. This is a flat edge to the bangs. This might be a minor thing. You're gonna, at the end of this, you're gonna be like, so what? Somebody with scissors could have done that. Flat bangs, not flat bangs. This is a jagged cut. Sorry, it's a bit blurry because of the shot it comes from. This is jagged. I have no reason to suspect that these are the same people. Like, sorry, I'm going into a whirlpool. One of the main things you got to do in anime is keep your characters' visuals distinct because you don't want to get them confused with other people. The hair doesn't go down as long on the sides. Jagged cut here in the front. Hair goes down on the sides. Flat cut along the front. I think these are two different people. And not for nothing, if this is the same one that gives Lou the picture, that would also indicate that this person is operating independently of this person. But also looking back here, I don't remember if I did any notes about this. That hair could be a grown-up version of this hair. I don't know. That is just a supposition. Zoom back out here again. All right. Anyway, that's the first thing I wanted to bring up because I was just staring at it last night thinking, huh, do I replace this image? And then I'm thinking, maybe I don't replace it because that might be a completely distinct person. Anyway, Otherwise, I connected Ma to Zhao Wang, and with a red line. And then I marked Zhao Wang as dead. It seems pretty evident that he said no witnesses and then clubbed her in the back of the head to death. Nothing I can do about that. So, on to notes then. Clearly, Tianxi has powers. Juan mentions them being useless in an escape attempt from the police station. I would bring up how that would also imply that he knows about people with powers as well, but I believe that was the implication given to us previously when he left the Force after his wife's killer killed himself. I don't know if Tianxi was the person he was in contact with back then or not, but it certainly seems like he's known since back then. Zhao Wang was clearly in some sort of trance, even the security guard. Sorry, side tangent here. Do police stations have security guards? Wouldn't that just be another cop? Even the security guard mentions how she's smiling and how she's usually so stern. My best guess at the moment is, contrary to what I said last reaction, that Red Eyes isn't jumping into her, but that Tianxi's power might actually be causing that trance through physical contact. Which would also explain why she is so diligently holding both of their hands. Though I could be wrong. When Xiao Li is looking at the video, it doesn't look like Chang is holding Tianxi's hand. Though, that could be just them that could just be them controlling Xiao Wang and Shang not knowing what's going on. And Chang's eyes are red during the chase, implying Red Eyes is inhabiting Chang. Sorry, this one's a bit of a meandering thought one, so I apologize ahead of time. Like I said before, there doesn't appear to be any broken glass inside of Lu's room, implying that it was broken from the inside out. Also, the main break of the window is just above a chair that hasn't been moved, so I guess implying that Lu would have stepped on it and gone through the glass. Somewhat reminded of the opening where Chang is falling down in front of the building and Lu's reflection is what's in the glass. The opening hasn't really offered up any clues yet, so I don't know if it ever will. Just the closest thing related so far. My main thing is that the guy looking out the window sees nothing straight down, including any way to climb out. By counting the window lines, assuming each section of 2 window is 1 story, as Lu's window has 2 panes separated by a thinner section of frame, and assuming that we can't see the segment the camera is panning out from, that makes me think that this is a 4-story drop to whatever ledge is below. Chinese hospitals have a floor-to-floor height of about 3.3 meters, so about 10 feet 8 inches per story. We are looking at over a 42-foot drop, unassisted, onto concrete. I know I've cited in other shows that 13 meters, around the height of a mobile suit cockpit in Gundam shows, is often cited as a deadly fall height by organizations that do work at those elevations. And that's about the same height we are talking about now. Let's not forget as well that Lu is injured, barely strong enough to walk to the door of the hospital room, let alone see into the future. The only way I can see this working is if Lu gets incredibly lucky jumping out the window and only shatters both of his legs without killing himself. Then, by virtue of the fact that we know that someone with powers inhabiting your body allows them to ignore its injuries, Red Eyes or Chang could pilot Lu away from the scene of the fall to wherever he's going. What would be the point, though? Once he got there and you left the body, he'd still be in mortal danger. I guess unless you didn't care about the body at all and just needed someone disposable for something, in which case that does sound like Red Eyes. That then begs the question, though, why? again, there's a lot to the scene that doesn't add up, and that was my paragraph and my paragraph plus of doing the math. Just for a future note, Zhao Wang's ID is 77450, in case that ever comes up again. Don't see why it would, but they made an emphasis of it, and if I ever have to look up numbers again, there it is. Why did Kwan's thugs all wear masks? Hawaiian shirt guy makes me think it wasn't to hide their identities. These cops know that guy, plus he wears the same shirt all the time. It's a giveaway. Makes me think there is some other reason for it. Maybe because Tianxi, or I guess in the reaction, her brother, both wear masks, and thus it's more comfortable for them to jump into someone wearing a mask? Technically, Lu Min was wearing a mask when he showed up at the photo studio to attack them. Could be something. When the captain is fighting the big guy and starts winning, there is a punch where he hits the guy across the face, the music dips, and the sound effect comes up, and the guy looks at the captain slightly different. It very clearly looks like it's signifying something. I replayed it like 5 times. Beyond the expression change, nothing else is different. His eyes are the same color too. He goes from offensive to defensive, but that's about it. And my last note here. Regardless of everything else I've said about Lou and the hospital drop, he did get from the hospital past the residential area, across the river, steal a boat, and drive it back to the other side in the same amount of time it took everyone else just to get to the river. Hell, they only had a few minutes head start on Zhao. They only had a few minutes head start on Zhao, and she arrived at the same time on a bike. You know, beyond the question of how Lu knew to go there at all, there are 2 clear shots of at the end where Lu jumps off the boat. One where he's hanging in midair, and the second where he comes in contact with Shang. I froze both and zoomed in on Lu's eyes. They were his normal color, so my guess about him being controlled now seems unlikely. Well, that said, that was all of my thoughts from last episode. I've gone over the more inclusive stuff I had about the board this time, so I guess there's nothing left to do but to hop on in and see what we get.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
王警官，你为什么要带走程小石？到底发生了什么事情？程小石他人呢？
Okay, so we're rewinding a bit.
你冷静，你千万别过来，现在这里很危险。王警官，王警官，
哎，你又是什么情况啊？
大叔，
We're now just rewinding to see her die again.
他就带着2个人去吃饭了呀。校队还让我叫增援呢。不是，你们出什么事儿了？这是？
听王警官。
Or I guess maybe something happened to her while she was biking over there, and now we need to see what that was.
陆光什么时候给我发的消息？这里是河边。
I mean, that's new.
没人接啊！
哎，别乱跑啊！
I mean, clearly she doesn't meet up with Lou, but that explains how she knew where to go, at the very least. Again, what it doesn't explain, though, is why Lou knew to go there. Because, again, not for nothing, that's not where Lou goes. He's telling her to go where he is about to be, but he has to then be across the river, stealing a boat, with the intent to go to the location that he's marked on there. Because if he was marking where he was, then she would arrive at the other side of the river, when he is going and knocking into whatever boat Tianxi had ready to go to kidnap Shang. So, sorry, I'm also recognizing the element that I didn't comment about in my notes is the fact that 2 episodes back at the very end, Lou is staring at his phone, and this is 8:50, and then we see it again, and it's 8:55, and that's when the glass breaking sound happens. And I introduced the idea that maybe he was waiting for something, some prearranged time. And I think I made some sort of commentary, like they had a conversation in the room about a plan that we never see happen. Or, whatever. But the idea is that I also don't remember then any actual conversation between them being had where they pre-planned anything. I think I just made that up in my notes because in my head it's not coming to. And the element is that if it was a plan, Shang doesn't seem to be going with the plan since he seems to have gotten controlled by Red Eyes at some point in time. And Zhao here doesn't seem to know what's going on either. So if it was a plan, they're not doing it. So I don't know where Lou gets the thing by the time.
你为什么要跟他走？
没想到你会比警察先找到我们，但也已经无济于事了。走水路，你又怎么可能追得上呢？
I mean, I don't remember you saying that last time. And she could have ridden the bike down the slope. So we're not carrying guns. Legitimately, given the size difference, I don't think I'd be concerned. Eyes are not changed. Eyes not changed. But his are, so he's not with Red Eyes anymore.
赶上了。陆光，你怎么会在这儿？
So it is touch related. That's the only reason she could be like grabbing like that.
陈老师，
I legit thought it was only Shang and Zhao that trained with the martial arts guy. Very much seems like Liu has too.
好样的！
Again, the touch thing. So I'm not laughing that he got caught. I'm laughing because it turns out I was right in my note. Why would you? Maybe you think about that by yourself. Ah, fuck. See, we didn't see the aftermath of the Shen thing, so I didn't think we would see this with her.
你没事吧？到底发生了什么？通知兄弟们，联络各区警队，全城搜捕，击打李建熙。
Yeah, I feel that.
怎么样？人带回来了吗？
Well, the wrong one.
虽然发生了点小插曲，但看来计划还算顺利。
Unless they meant to capture Liu, and this is just... No, they didn't. Okay. Now, how does he handle his anger when it's this person and not Ma?
时间紧迫，就只能先放过程小时了。
接应的时间和地点，肖丽他们都不清楚，为什么偏偏他会知道？
一个大活人，怎么会平白无故就失踪了？当时有没有其他人在场？
没了，就我们仨，而且门还是反锁的。我们以为
No, legitimately, how the fuck did he get out the window?
查过了，我们以为陆先生出事了，所以都先关注了砸碎的玻璃窗。但其实，他趁我们冲进房间之后
You three were out there the whole fucking... What the fuck? You were out there. You heard the glass break. How did he sneak out?
现在看来，陆光是有所准备后离开了病房。
I have a whole fucking note section just about this. This is bullshit.
该死！要不是我失去意识，就不会闹到现在这样。
现在不是自责的时候，还是先把来龙去脉梳理清楚。
而且当时失控的不光是你，还有王军。不管怎样，我已经让所有弟兄排查李天熙和陆光的下落。之前调看他们案宗的时候，还发现一条重要线索。
Oh, yeah.
刘兰这个案子，
But we know already that he was
从时
involved.
间上来看，前进在警队接手的最后一个案子，正是李天熙和李天辰父母的命案。
Which we have missing files for, too.
而且接手案件后不久，他就提出离职。 李天熙和李天辰的档案也被悄悄抹去，
Because they had powers and he thought he could do more with them than he could with the Force.
兄妹脱不了关系。
That's my
只要他
guess.
手下那晚出现在医院，为他和刘晶卖命，就都能串联起来。我已经派人去盯他了，但在没有十足把握的前提下，更要小心行事，避免打草惊蛇。当务之急，先要解开陆光身上的谜团。现场没人动过吧？
没，我们就在病房里大致搜查了一遍，东西一样都没碰过。
厕所呢？
厕所
他应该就是砸破玻璃窗，分散你们的注意，然后躲在厕所，趁机溜走的。从逃离病房到河边。
So, they're all three looking into the room from the room and he slips out behind you from the bathroom?
就像是早有准备。
These NPC cops are fucking...
这是陆光的手机吗？
嗯，是，没错。
看来，他还故意留了线索给我们。你们有谁知道他的锁屏密码？
我知道。没错，解开了。
没想到陆光会把密码告诉你，091305代表什么意思啊？
Okay, well that's gonna be another number to look up later.
和你
By look up, I mean what date that would be to try and cross-reference it for past stuff that we know.
这拍的是什么？你们看窗外有什么东西吗？
等等，照片。既然有了照片，那程小石，你岂不是可以进入那个时间，看看是几点拍的？
Yeah, but you only have one opportunity.
这个时间，刚好就是我收到定位前。
刚离开病房那会儿，我注意到陆光一直忧心忡忡。小程，去的路上我跟你讲一下谈话时的一些技巧和注意事项。
好。
以他当时的状态，不像还有嫌弃。
So he takes the picture and then 12 minutes later he does his thing.
可能陆光本意就不是拍照，
只是为了留下那一刻的照片，作为时间的坐标，在必要的时候能成为命运的转折点。
怪不得之前我觉得陆光有些反常。
Again, except for the element that I already
练
looked,
功的时候，他就一直不太擅长拳脚。
and his eyes were not
和
different.
李天熙过招。
I
还是冲动的表现，其实都是你，程小石。
Why would they not show us his
如果不
eyes?
进入照片的话，那过去的一切是否会是另
His
一种
eyes
结
were
果？
not gold.
被带走的那个人，会不会就是我？
They're breaking their own rules.
那个，你们到底在说什么呀？
哦，他们在讨论科幻小说里的剧情。你们几个先出去一下吧。
哦，好。
Probably be helpful for your guys if they knew they were fighting by like telling them the truth and not gaslighting them.
涉险的准备。
Yeah, wounded from before.
这个半死不活的废人伤口还在渗血，我可不希望他死在这里。得赶紧再想个办法把程小石弄来。只要有了他的能力，过去的一切，我们就都能改写。
I don't know what this is.
喂，你说。
I mean, I don't know if it's an allusion to a famous movie over there or not.
李天熙找到了。
是的，南德区的警员说，他们前2天晚上接到报案。我去，这附近都动迁了，我记得以前还挺热闹的呀。该搬的早搬了，后面这些旧房子就等拆了。哎，等等。
Kind of looks like the alley where the kid got kidnapped before.
哎，你听，好像里边有声儿啊！怕不是见鬼了？看你个怂样，进去看看。谁怂了？少废话，来搭把手。
Imagine living in a place like this and people just randomly just open your front door all the time.
果然还开着，来，进去玩玩。
只要有了他的能力。 过去的一切，我们就都能改写。
谁在那里？
包括找回你弄丢的妹。
Oh, but that is the brother.
有2名青年发现了一个露宿在废弃杂货店的小姑娘。经查没有档案信息，正巧跟我们要找的李天熙形象描述吻合。
好了，留给我们的时间不多了。
Well, there you go. The hair thing I said from the board before. I was completely wrong, I guess, in thinking that they were both acting in tandem.
即使是他，我也不会手下留情的。
我们手上不是还有牌吗？
说来听听，我们最后这一
I mean, this thing's motivation's a lot more confusing. And I'm even more confused about who actually is Red Eyes. Given that he was with Chang and Red Eyes was in Chang. But then again, the element is, I've said this before, characters in the future can operate with events from the past.
还给我装傻是不是？他刚从南德区的所里领过来，应该不是你要找的人。
之前审讯室里跟我对话的就是他，没错。快告诉我，陆光在哪儿？
Again, the fact that the other one could talk should be proof.
哭什么？
好了，程小石，你也冷静一下。他跟之前我们看到的李天熙可能不是一个人。
长得一模一样，怎么会不是一个人？难不成我们看到的是？
哦，现在这个千真万确就是李天熙，他无法正常说话，并且心智好像也与实际年龄不符。
Of course, what fucking happened to her?
原来我们看到的那个是他的孪生哥哥假扮的，但他不是应该更
Alright, well, at least sympathy's back with her. The brother is the weird one at the moment.
他应该就是那个拥有操控能力的异能者，但他又是怎么做到同时控制我和王娟的？而且他的能力发动条件
He's working. Is Red Eyes gonna be the kid from the past that they refuse to show his face? The blue-haired kid?
不会改变历史。我相信。
We legit know nothing about him, and they're working together, and that's the only person I can think of.
但陆公用他自己来拯救你，这就是命运的必经之路。无论过去，不问将来。
Don't do that. Change the past.
乔莲，
我们已经试过各种办法了，但他就是
Change the past, make a new future, solve the problems of the new future too.
是逼他，可能只会适得其反。现在时间也晚了，要不等明天一早再找心理专家过来跟他聊聊。
目前有个人质在对方手里，必须争分夺秒。能联系的，还是都先去联系。
小队，
There's no evidence that she knows anything.
可以让他试试。
哦，对了，
Plus, you know, she can't
他们帮我
speak
找几样东西。
and has so much baggage.
你好，我叫乔琳。
Well, scar under the
听你
eye.
说你连晚饭都没吃，那我给你带了零食和牛奶。没关系，等你想喝的时候再喝吧。你知道吗？我有个弟弟，他小时候也不爱喝牛奶。那，喝牛奶。不要，不好喝。
Oh, she's regarding Chang as her brother, or is Chang actually her brother?
乖，来喝一口嘛。不要。大人都说。
Also, you can't do those to those kind of cups or boxes. That milk would be squirting all over the place.
乔琳，你变了，现在的你像一个，现在像是只母老虎。大笨蛋来喽！我程小时是个大笨蛋。乔琳，你，我也画一只母老虎。程小时大笨蛋。
It's cute.
他就这样咕咚咕咚一口气喝完了牛奶，我笑得前仰后合。我越是笑他，他越着急，喝得越快。
Pretty good drawer for crane work. Well, for most work.
虽然小时候我总以姐姐自居，但其实我俩没差多少。现在的他已经长得人高马大，虽然有时候还跟小孩一样冒冒失失、傻呵呵的，但真要面对困难和挑战的时候，他还是非常帅气的。
Again, the element, you only got one shot. Bullshit. He did not have... I'm thinking now that I may have said things in the past about people who did not have gold eyes who then got inhabited later. Like the kidnapping arc. It was very confusing when they decided not to show eyes.
你是李天辰吧？不愧是程小时的好搭档，脑子转的可真够快的。所以，你又是怎么知道我们计划的时间和地点的？
如果告诉你了，那我岂不就没有利用价值了吗？
I mean, still information I would like to know.
让我讨厌，后悔之前下手还是轻了。但现在，我可不会让你就这么轻易死掉。
I think Tian Shen is also being controlled by Red Eyes in that moment. Because that did... Not personality-wise. Obviously, I have no fucking idea what personality-wise Tian Shen is like now. But the eyes didn't seem the same. And maybe given my whole recent thing about his eyes not being golden when he jumps off the boat, I've got a weird hang up on it now. What the hell was that? I'm confused about the weird noise he just made. Did he, like, do something to himself? Is he bleeding so bad because he shoved something into the wound? Also, milk and chips is not snacks. Yeah. Yeah, how is that happening? Because it didn't happen the first time around. And that dude said he didn't check the bathroom. So, is something happened here where he has a whole conversation and then convinces him to lie? In which case, why would you lie at, well, if you don't understand how all this is working, you might lie after the fact, not knowing how it works. Very confusing. Very confusing. Like, obviously, I think I'm going to have a lot of notes here. Granted, I say that all the time. I've told you guys implicitly I'm going to come back with notes even if a lot of stuff didn't happen. It's just the element here that I'm not exactly sure about anything anymore. Like, again, the element that Tian Shen is essentially maybe red eyes, not red eyes. I keep doing the thing where I hang on because I'm expecting a next time on that this show doesn't do next time on, so there's nothing there for me to hang on for. That Shang jumps back into Lu and does all that stuff. Like, that'd be fine. If he had gold eyes in the episodes I was looking for it, where literally I paused and checked 2 different scenes, would have been rewarded with it, but clearly they don't want to, like, give that away, so they drew him with different eyes. And Zhao implies that the way Lu is fighting after he jumps off the boat is the way Shang fights. So it's not that he left the body and went back to his normal body after he jumped off the boat, or before he jumped off the boat, because the implication is that it's still him. So he should have had golden eyes the whole time. I feel like unless there's like a mystery 5th rule that I'm just forgetting, like, is there an element of the eyes don't glow if you're in the current time frame from the perspective of somebody in the current time frame, and they only glow if you're coming back from a different perspective? Which would be a very confusing rule, mind you, but, like, if we were trying to pay attention to who's red eyes and who's not red eyes, then being from red eyes' own time perspective and seeing the red eyes might then indicate something, but no, that doesn't work. Because we're in the current time frame and seeing red eyes as red eyes and the people he's inhabiting, and he's obviously not coming from the same time frame, he's coming from a different time frame. I mean, I assume. No, it would have to be, because otherwise he wouldn't know to inhabit Emma from that moment. And then also understand that that's the guy currently fighting him. Yeah. I don't know. So that's just an upsetting moment. You know, the been watching for a season and a half, or say, and know what to look out for, and then you look out for it, and the show subverts you for no reason. I'm going to say no reason, because it doesn't explain that that's something that could be changed. Obviously, this cliffhanger is something that needs to be explained, because obviously it goes against the story that's been told already. But if it is an element of a guy is lying or something like that, I appreciate and then don't appreciate that. I appreciate it because it takes into account that the base story isn't always going to be the base story. Just because people told you this is what happened doesn't mean that that's exactly what had to have happened. And what the value is of seeing things with your own eyes can be, right? And then I don't appreciate that because that makes things so much more fucking complicated. So, otherwise, I can't be totally upset at the episode. Literally, I called out the hair differences between the pictures that I had on the board this whole time, and that turned out to be exactly the thing. And I don't know that you can both reward me for being very observant and then slap my hand away when I'm exactly as observant. Well, anyway, obviously there's a lot to dive into on this one, and unfortunately I don't think I have the mental wherewithal to jump into all the little tidbits. I think that is exactly what the note section is for, because I need the ability to go back, pick up information, link it to past information I've taken notes on, pause, write out my notes, all the little things. I need that for this because we are dealing with such an in-depth story, an in-depth narrative with Link Click that it's just, I can't off the top of my head. To what ability I can do off the top of my head, you just heard me do off the top of my head. So I think that's going to be about it for this. So, once again, I've been Theta, this has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.